John Barrett with Level Up Your Leadership, where I'm going to help you with visual leadership lessons so that you can get better in all that you do. Today, I want to talk to you about the law of diminishing productivity. Here's what I know about you. You want to be more productive. You want to get more done. You want to be more successful. But we've got so many things on our plate. There's so many things that we've got going on that we tend to lose productivity. I don't know if you ever felt this way or if you feel it right now, but you feel like there's just more to do than there is time to get it all done. And that is a common thing that we all face as leaders. So what I want to do today is help you with an idea of how can you be more productive. Now, there's a little secret here because you're only going to be as productive as intentional as you are about it. You're never going to rise above your level of intentionality. If you don't get serious about being productive, you're not going to be productive. If you don't get the right tools, the right thinking, and understand what's going on, then you're not going to be productive. It's not just about getting more done. It's about getting the right things done. So a little thought that I want to give you here, this chart. Now, over here, we're going to talk about our return and then our effort. So the effort that we put in to our productivity, to our tasks, to our projects, all that we need to get done, this is our effort. This is going to be the return that we get. Now, there's this bell curve that we've come to find about productivity. And highly productive people are very intentional about this. But if you're not intentional about it, again, you'll never rise above your level of intentionality when it comes to productivity. So you've got to understand that highly productive people, they live and die by this bell curve. This is very important for them to determine when they hit this critical mass point where they're at their highest productivity, when their effort is going and the return is at the highest. Now, let me kind of give you an idea of what happens here. As we begin to put effort into our task, our day, our projects, we begin to put our effort in. There's a return that starts to come as we put in effort, obviously. The more effort and the more work you put into something, hopefully you're getting a good return. As we rise and we're going up this kind of bell curve, this is what happens. Low producers, right? Low producers, they stop right about here. So they never get to the highest return of their productivity, right? They just kind of hit this point right here, and the effort that they put in is not good enough. It's not getting the return that they want. This is what we would call low producers, somebody who's not getting the job done. They're cutting corners. They're not getting the quality out that they need to get. The return isn't there on their effort because they're just simply not putting in the effort. They're not putting in hard work, and they stop right here. Now, this is obviously something that hopefully you're not dealing with. If you are, you got to get people in your team, if you're leading them, to put more effort in, obviously, right? We've got to go up this thing till we get to the highest point of return on our effort. So we can't allow low producers in the organization. We can't tolerate that. You've got to be able to put forth the effort. You've got to be able to put the work in to get it done. So keep an eye on your team and your own productivity. Make sure that you're doing what is necessary. You're putting the right effort in so that you can get a return. So low producers stop here. But high producers, they put forth the effort and they're getting a return. Here's where high producers stop. High producers stop right here at critical mass, right at the top. This is when they've known that they've put in the right effort that's getting the right return. They know that they've done exactly what needs to be done. Now, this is what's so fascinating about the law of diminishing productivity. It's just like the law of diminishing returns. As you put forth effort, and as that goes, your return actually starts to go down. Meaning this, when you start to overthink, overplan, overanalyze, overcook, when you're just putting all this effort in, your return actually starts going down. See, high producers know exactly when to stop and be done with the task, be done with the project, be done with whatever it is they're doing, and move on to the next thing. But here's the catch, is that most people, here's what I found in 20 years of coaching, most people stop about right here. This is where most people stop. Is right here when they've realized, okay, I've overcooked this thing. I can't give any more effort to it. I've exhausted everything. I can't think another moment about it because it's not going anywhere. Here's the problem. This is the biggest time waster that exists in all of productivity, is right there. Because most people live right here. They live somewhere between this high production point where your effort and your return are at critical mass, but they overcook, overplan, overthink, overanalyze, and they overdo this thing, and then they just kind of get done right around here, but they've wasted all this time. See, high producers, they don't waste time. Once they hit 212 degrees, which is boiling point, and that water is boiling, they're done. They're moving on to the next thing. If your goal is to hit 212 degrees and boil water, for example, then 300 degrees doesn't do anything. If 500 degrees, it's all just wasted energy. It doesn't get anything done. You've already hit 212 degrees right here at boiling point. Then you need to be done. Your water is boiled. Move on to the next project. Start putting in the mac and cheese. Get something else ready to go, right? Your water is boiling. Most people are putting in 500, 600, 700 degrees, and then they kind of get done here. And you know this. You've been a part of a presentation where you've stayed up all night trying to get ready for something, anticipating what it needs to be said and what the audience needs to hear, or whatever your team needs to hear, or your higher ups, or whatever it is that you were doing the presentation for. And so you've put in all this effort just to find out when you actually give the presentation, all they needed to know was this point right here. It was 212 for your audience. They were like, hey, that's good right there. That's all we needed to know. And you're like, what? That's all you needed? I was up all night. I've been stressing about this forever, anticipating everything. I have 48 slides on my presentation, and you just needed to see 2? See, what you've done is you've stopped way down here where you put in so much effort, but the return is wasted. And you wasted all this stress and time and energy when all you needed to do was stop right here. So listen, the law of diminishing productivity. You've got to understand that just because you put a lot of effort in doesn't mean that your productivity just always goes up. No, there's a moment where you actually overcook, overthink, overanalyze, overplan, overproduce, and you actually begin to go down. So what I want to challenge you with is this. What areas in your leadership, what areas with your team or your organization are you guys wasting time over here where you're overthinking and overanalyzing and doing all that wasted time stuff over there? You're at 500 degrees when you boiled at 212 and you needed to be done. Highly productive people understand that this is vital to live on the mountaintop. And as soon as you get done with what needs to be done, you move on to the next thing. Guys, I hope this was helpful to you. I want you to be productive, but I know that you've got to understand there is this sweet spot. Can't go under it. Right here, if you live in this zone right there, the quality's not there. It's not good enough. It's 211 degrees. It's not 212. But once you hit that 212, you hit that critical mass point, then you move on to the next thing and do not waste time because it will literally limit your success. And this is when people are working 70, 80 hours a week. And I look at them and I coach a lot of them and I go, listen, the reality is about 15 or 20 of those hours is because you wasted time over here overthinking, overplanning, overanalyzing, overstressing, over worrying about everything. And then you just keep double checking it and triple checking it and quadruple checking it. You've got to learn to be done. You don't sacrifice quality, but you understand where that critical mass is. Guys, I hope this was helpful to you. Go to johnbarrettleadership.com to find out all other resources. We've got a level up guide that will help you and your team talk about this as a team, as an organization, where there's group questions where you can unpack where might we be living over here in this time wasted space and our productivity is diminishing because we're not understanding what is 212, what we need to get to. Hopefully that'll be helpful, guys, and we'll see you next time. Reach out to us today so we can help take you and your team to the next level.